Alright, hey guys, welcome to this lecture where we're gonna be doing the front limbs, fine details, and secondary forms actually. So this is gonna be a very long one, and it's including all the deltoid, the muscles on the humerus, except the pause. That's gonna be on in the separate lecture. So let's switch to sculpt mode. And let's start with this. Check our subdivisions. In this case, we need to subdivide this guy a bit. Subdivision level 4 will do. Checking for symmetry now. Say we have 8 million faces. That's about right. I think that's about the amount of polygons we need. And again, we're using the multi-resolution that we added in the previous lectures. How I normally do this, I start with the clay strip brush, just building up those secondary forms before I come in with the draw sharp and emphasizing those. As you can see, press down F to increase the brush size. For some reason it's a bit laggy. I have no idea why. If I subdivided this even more, okay, I'll switch that to level 3, and yeah, now it works fine. So we're gonna be using level 3. It's fine. Now it's just me looking for those forms and just coming in, following some of the primary forms that we had and a bit of the anatomy knowledge. Now it's time to just break it, and obviously the primary forms are a bit anatomically correct. It's just these finer details, just giving it that creature look, just our own design. So this process takes time as I'm building these bumpy surfaces one step at a time, but they are totally rewarding. As you can see, just using the smoothing that out, hold down shift. If my lines were too much, just coming in over here, I normally just use a very soft brush, soft hand if I may say, controlling it with the pen tablet. So doing this with the mouse will be very hard, and it will take you probably like twice the time it would take you on a tablet. And some things are just probably just impossible or very hard to do if you on a mouse. In this case, the sketches and all the finer details are kind of easy when you have the pen tablet. You can see just giving that the bumpy surfaces over there, just coming around, and then moving on the other side on the biceps. So when I control, just gonna dig that in, and then I'm gonna build around that like so, building around that those forms, smoothing that out, hold on shift, and then go back to that, smooth that out again. I like to add some of the vein details where I can, so I'm holding down Control to invert the draw sharp, just to create some of those veins. As we move through the process. Just carving that in. Just carving that in with the draw brush. Finding some patterns. You can see. Finding some patterns maybe that we might be able to follow. Like so. Just carving that in. At this stage, I'm kind of being very rough with this guy, as I just want to exaggerate those details. Then build those veins as we go along. I'll probably use the draw brush at the later stage. Right now we're just using that draw sharp, which has that pinching effect on the top part. And you see, guys, that I kind of don't stay in one place. It's a matter of just moving up and down and see which works for you. Like so. Just carving that in. And again, you're just finding areas where we need to add those details. You can see how subtle my veins are that I'm creating here. This will go a long way. So, now just following some of those muscle striations, those major forms, and then you're just holding on control to create those veins again. So control is for us to invert. I'll just copy that in. See, just carving, following that. Go to the back and creating that bumpy surface. Okay, go back to the draw, to the crease strips, I mean. And I'm just gonna build the forms around those lines that we carved from. As you can see, just building out those forms. Very soft, very low intensity of it. They might be just too subtle details for you at this stage, but trust me, these will be very, very useful at a later stage. Just gonna come in there. Like so. Around those lines again. Still have a lot of work to do here. Switch to the draw shop. I'm just gonna cover in the wrinkles. So you see where the elbow bends over there. Right now it's straight, so will probably have some wrinkles, but it won't be a lot when we bend it. So I don't want to go crazy with that at this stage, because we still gonna pose our character. But then just having those minor details there kind of helps a lot. Again, switching back to the clay strokes brush, just roughly moving that in. Still doing that. Like so. Okay, I'm just gonna carve, and this is must called the triceps. I'm just gonna give it that some different look. So you can see there, I'm just gonna dig in there, just randomly creating that indent with the draw sharp. And once I'm done, I'll clear the clay strips and build again around those forms. You can kind of detect or like understand or perceive my technique over here, how I use the draw shop to create those lines and those sketches, and then around those lines, not interfering with them, I'm using that clay strip brush to just build those secondary forms, minor forms around that, to give it that bumpy surface, which is very, very useful, like mandatory to upsell your fine details. You can see I'm coming back with the clay strips, adding more clay over there, like so. Just moving that in. It's coming up from the inside. Smooth that out again. Let's just zoom in here. Change the draw sharp. Just covering in where the downtone overlaps. Adding some veins. Adding some of those subtle veins, as you can see. Hold down Control Command on your keyboard. You do an invert, and then just smooth some of the edges. Then I'm gonna be working on that. Just coming in now with the clay strips. Just build up those forms around there. Now it's all about finding the shapes that look well for you, that work for you. Kind of hard to, but just moving around and having a bunch of references and your concept whatsoever is very helpful. Just looking around, zoom in there, build a form in the front. Just building that. You see how those lines are straight. I'm just breaking that and creating some imperfections on top of the skin. Can't wait till we add those skin folds. That will kind of help us a lot to understand or detect. Smooth it out, hold on shift. Oh, excuse me. Oh, kind of froze there for a second. Coming in there with the bicep. Again, working on those forms. Trying to find like what shape would I go for. Just smooth that out, hold on shift. Let's carve that in with a very large brush. Creating some of the bigger veins with the bigger brush. I would have to decrease that. Excuse me. Kind of getting a flu here. See how those veins are so subtle? You can see over there. Yeah, some water. Building that up. Obviously, that like anatomically those muscles are not like that, but for this creature, we going for something like that today. Carving those over. Like so. at this stage, I'm not like too careful where I like add those forms, but I'm just moving around and trying to find a way, or like going and just building those up, those knuckles also, until like I find like the perfect forms that I'm looking for. Obviously, just smooth it out because we're not doing the pose at this stage. And then the knuckles. If to increase the brush size, just gonna drag those proportions. I just want to make them look big, because the more big they look, the more fearful the animal becomes. So I'm just giving it that. Like so. Oh, here we go. Going to the other side, smoothing it out, hold on shift, zoom in there, building it up again, hold on shift. I like how those lines stay at the back, and I'm not doing like a hard smoothing out. As you can see, like my smoothing is very subtle because I just want to leave those lines as guidelines, and they kind of trigger my next design to the model. So having them there, they kind of show me, okay, I should probably just do those lines going like that. So I'm just gonna build the forms there with a very large brush. Hold on control, do an invert. I'm just gonna build that over there. Smooth that up. And so press F. Try those veins again. Like adding more veins makes the creature or beast more bulky. Looks more bulky again, like more that you should fear it or something. Or like it like has power. I believe that was the word I was looking for. Adding some of the veins there. So this kind of takes time, but it like once you download it, it's gonna look nice when you add those alpha maps, those frequency details on top of the mesh, like the skin pores and stuff. Even like some of these most of these like the limbs and so forth, the chest, like almost the entire body will be covered in fur, but another fur. So in some areas there's like no need to exaggerate those details, but then having that um underneath is very nice. So just increasing that, just looking for some veins there. Using the draw brush, change it to the draw sharp, and it's just gonna carve that. It's just remove that in. And again, I'm just freestyling all these details, most of it having just a few reference on the side to just guide me in some areas that I'm not being very much creative. So this is very helpful. Just carving that in now. With a very large draw sharp brush. Like that. Like so, just moving that around that. And from the back, we haven't been doing much work there. So now this is just me just moving around, just not wasting time in one area. But then just creating some variation on the skin surface around the model, again using the same technique that I was telling you guys about, like in this entire lecture we be using the same technique. So now I'm just carving those in, emphasizing those lines with the draw sharp. Just carving those in. It's and then coming in there. So we kind of almost done with this. Just remembering that this will be covered in fur, so now it's me just using the draw sharp, just emphasizing these, just checking around. Let's do some bit of work on the doubts there, the deltoid. Just moving around, emphasizing those forms. Just Just give it a look. Like those subtle details that we already had there. It's just me just emphasizing them now with the draw shop, which is very helpful. Coming around there, the back, as you can see, there's no detail going on, so I'm just using the draw shop just to give some fine details at the back. Just looking around again on our model and just trying to find where we left out or we never added those details. Just using the same brush again. So yeah, you can spend the whole day with this, but again, thank you guys for your time, and I'll see you guys in the next lecture.